Willie D Live.
What's up, family? In a new Reuters interview, Donald Trump, your president, said that his administration is doing so good that we shouldn't even have a 2026 midterms. Yeah, that's what he said. They're doing so good that we just shouldn't even bother with the elections. Now, why would he say something like that? Because he can't win, and he knows it. Yeah. See, because if he was doing right by the American people, he wouldn't have to worry about losing. The only reason why he would mention that is because he thinks he'll lose. And guess what? He's absolutely 1000% correct. He will lose. Now, a lot of people have been saying that he's going to invoke martial law to avoid the loss. Well, he can't really do that, and I'll explain why in a moment. But first, I wanted to read something to you that NAACP President Derrick Johnson said in a statement to the Griot. If your record as president is truly popular with the American people, you should have nothing to fear from the upcoming election. But of course, Trump should have a lot to fear because nothing he's doing is popular. From tanking the economy, weaponizing federal agents against innocent people, invading sovereign nations, and covering up pedophiles' crimes. Whoa. He added, the United States elections are run by the states, not the White House. So regardless of Donald Trump's ego, the American people will vote, and they will reject his authoritarian attempt to seize control of their government. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, so what Trump is really doing, fam, is testing the American people's tolerance for a midterm exclusion, right? He's trying to test the waters, trying to see just how people are going to react. Trump is pretty consistent with testing the waters before he commits an evil act. He is really good at testing the American people's tolerance for bad deeds that he commits, right? Before he commits them. He did the same thing with Venezuela and the oil. He's been talking about stealing Venezuela's oil for years. We should just take it. You know, it's really ours. We should just take it. You know, we should just take that oil. That's a lot of oil. We could use that oil. And finally, he did it because he just didn't see enough resistance. And those people over there in Congress, the Do Nothing Congress, they should get that title this year. I mean, they've never really done anything, but there has never been a time in American history, I don't believe, that this title has been more appropriate. Do Nothing Congress. That's what we have, a Do Nothing Congress. With all that power they got, all that might. They're just sitting back watching the clown show just like everybody else. It's like those positions that they have means nothing because they're cowards and they're too afraid to exercise that power. Yeah. But back to the idea of Trump invoking martial law to avoid the 2026 midterms. No, the President of the United States cannot invoke martial law to cancel or postpone elections. And here are some of the constitutional and legal framework preventing that from happening. State control of elections, as the president of NAACP mentioned. Under the Constitution's election clause, individual states, not the federal government, are responsible for administering elections. Congressional authority. Only Congress has the congressional power to set or change the date of federal elections. Mandatory term ends. The 20th Amendment explicitly states that the terms of the president and vice president end at noon on January 20th. Even if an election were delayed, the sitting president's authority would still expire on that date. No unilateral federal martial law. Legal experts and Supreme Court precedents indicate that the president lacks the authority to unilaterally declare martial law to override civilian government. Martial law cannot be used to suspend the Constitution or the rights it guarantees. Now you have people that talk about, well, he's saying that he's going to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minneapolis to try to stop the protesting. Well, even the Insurrection Act has its limitations. While the president can invoke Insurrection Act to deploy troops for domestic law enforcement during civil unrest, this law does not authorize the suspension of elections or the replacement of civil law with military rule. For those of you who might be a little worried, let me calm your nerves and put this into historical context. Historical precedent shows federal elections have never been postponed or canceled, even during the Civil War, world wars, or major pandemics. Trying to interfere with federal elections by using the military could result in criminal liability for those involved. That means everybody go to jail. See, the problem with that, though, is the leniency that they give these uncivilized mutts who try to overthrow the government. The insurrection, January 6th, was exactly what it was. It was an attempt to overthrow the government. That right there should have landed every single person in jail for life. See, if you really want to make sure that you live in a civilized society where the rules are respected, then you have to make examples out of people. And that's what I would have done. I would have made an example out of them. Every last one of them would have felt my wrath. I would have gave every single one of them a life sentence. Yeah, man, that's how I'm getting down. Life sentence. That way everybody else know, oh man, I can't get out. It don't matter what your skin color is. But back to Trump. This dude is not joking. He was not joking when he said that he wanted to not have the midterm elections. He was not joking. He do not joke. He checks temperatures. That's what he did. See, you better stop playing with him, though. You better stop joking with him and start taking him seriously. Like, when I saw him win that first election, I knew right then and there that you cannot underestimate this one. You can't underestimate him. So when he makes threats, when he says he's going to do something, watch out. Watch out. Because he's one of those types that like to make good on threats. Not necessarily promises, because some promises that he make don't benefit him. But he'll say it anyway because it benefits somebody else and he needs them to believe that he's on their side, but he really is not. So he'll make that promise and throw it out there, but he don't give a damn about all of that. But yeah, fam, Donald Trump is not joking. Do not think that he's joking. He's testing the waters. He's trying to see how far he can go. Remember on the campaign trail, he said, if elected, it'll be the last time you have to vote. You won't even have to do it again. It'll be the last time. This is what the plan was all along. This is what he was thinking all along. This was the play all along. He's trying to figure out now, you know what? I'm going to invoke the Insurrection Act and put Minneapolis on lock. I'm scare the hell out of everybody, make them bend. He want to make them bend to his will. And then when he gets away with it in Minneapolis, you know he's going to try the next city, and then the next city, and then the next city. I just could not be that type of leader. I would not want my people to fear me. You know, I'm just not that, I would want my people to love me and respect me. He has no respect. People do fear him because they know he's a loony. He's a lunatic. So people they do fear him, but he's not loved, not even by his own children. I don't believe his kids love him. I believe his kids say, this nigga right here gonna get us paid, man. Let's get this money, man, and woo, woo, woo. Like, they don't love him. I don't think they love him. I think people in general fear him. They don't love him and they don't respect him. Like, and more than love, if you can't get respect. See, he confuses fear with love. Even the members of his cabinet, you can see when they're having their meetings and stuff and press conferences, when they're just sitting there listening to him, these are people with degrees and all types of accomplishments. Well, not necessarily his people, not necessarily his cabinet. But you know what I'm saying, fam. At least they got the positions. But they're not exercising the power that the positions come with, right? Because they're all afraid. They're scared to death. They don't respect him. They stay silent and they laugh at his corny ass jokes because they fear him. What a horrible way to live a life. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.